Hello everyone. Today we will be talking about paraphrasing in academic writing. Paraphrasing can be defined as restating the meaning of a text using other words. There are a number of very important reasons why we paraphrase in academic writing. First of all, we paraphrase to avoid plagiarism. Then, with paraphrasing, you can show your readers that you understood a source text, because you need to understand a text to be able to paraphrase it. Also, thanks to paraphrasing, you can integrate the source text into your own writing. You can give it a different shape, you can play around with it, but you can't change the meaning. So, without changing the meaning, you can integrate the source text into your own paper. Plagiarism is a terminology that comes up a lot in academic writing. I'd like to clarify something here. As you're all aware, we use Turnitin to submit our academic work here in the UK and in a lot of institutions all around the world. Some people tend to associate Turnitin with plagiarism, but this is a wrong association, as Turnitin does not detect plagiarism. Turnitin only detects similarity by presenting a percentage. What really matters is what those similarities are. Once you submit your work on Turnitin, you will receive a report, and in that report you will see a percentage and some similarity rates. Let's try to clarify what kind of similarities are acceptable and what kind of similarities are not good in terms of academic writing. Small individual matches are generally acceptable. 1 to 2% similarity rate is not something that you should be afraid of. And because of the nature of academic writing, there are some similarities that will happen inevitably, which is okay. The cover sheet, content page, citations, names of organizations, quotes, and references and full references. You will see that Turnitin will highlight these, but these are okay because at the end of the day, you can't change the name of an organization. Also, some standard academic phrases are acceptable. Here you can see some examples. When it comes to problematic similarity, we can start with large individual matches, which are copied sentences and paragraphs. Yes, you may have cited them, but if the similarity is really high, like in this example, this will be considered as a problematic similarity. When you look at this example, you can see that there is an overall similarity rate of 36%. This 36% doesn't mean anything actually. But when you look at the individual similarities below that, you will see that number 1, highlighted in red, has 21% similarity, which is problematic. All the highlighted parts are copied and pasted, which doesn't help the reader make a decision whether the student understood the source text or not. Also, if words, ideas, and visual content from other sources are not attributed or used appropriately, this will raise concern. If you copy-paste a source text and do not put quotation marks, then again, this is problematic. Last but not least, if the source text is not paraphrased enough, this will be problematic as well, like you can see in this example. There is one solution to all these problems: paraphrasing. Let's look at how you can paraphrase effectively in academic writing. Imagine you have an assignment, and this assignment asks you to write an essay on the importance of referencing in academic writing. You do some online research, and you find this quote from Brown and Shields, which was published in 2019, and you decide to use it in your introduction paragraph. You read it a couple of times, and you think, okay, there are some words and phrases that I could change so that I can use it in my paper. You find some synonyms and change these words with those synonyms. What do you think? Would this be enough? The answer is no, of course. It was too easy, wasn't it? Whenever you have the feeling like it was too easy, there's a high possibility that it's not enough. There is more you can do, and there is more that you need to do actually in academic writing. But what should you do? There are 4 steps that you can take to successfully paraphrase. Step number 1, find synonyms. I've been using thesaurus.com for many years, and I would recommend it to you too. Just type in your word here and click here. It will show you some strong matches that you can choose from. At this point, it's your decision to choose whatever word you want. It depends on what your need is actually. In my context, the verb authenticate will do the trick, so I go with it, but I could have chosen certify maybe as well. But it's my decision, because it's my paraphrase. When I read the text again, I realize there are some phrases and words that I can find some synonyms for. These are my findings from thesaurus.com. But then again, if you were to do it, you would probably go with other options, which is totally fine. Your paraphrase will be different than mine, which is actually the beauty of it. It's quite unique. Once I have incorporated all the synonyms I've found, my text would look like the one on the right. But this is not enough. Step number 2, reorder ideas, if you can. This is how my text looks like now with the synonyms, and I can easily reorder some of the ideas. I changed the order of referencing and reader. And when you read the text now, the meaning is still the same. It's just the order that has changed. Step number 3, play with the structure of the text. And by structure, I mean grammar or changing the linkers, the cohesive devices. I start by changing the structure of the sentence. I play with the grammar. As you can see, this statement is written in active voice. It follows the subject-verb-object structure in English. I rephrase it by using passive voice. So I start with the object. Your source material can be traced by your readers. I'm not going to get into the details of active and passive structure. But when you change from active to passive or from passive to active, you automatically change a lot, which helps a lot with paraphrasing. Also, I changed the linker, so that becomes in order to. The meaning hasn't changed, it is just the wording that has changed. It looks good to me now. You could do more if you like. You could add a relative pronoun with a preposition, like here. But this time I decide not to. And the last step, add your in-text citation. No matter how much you paraphrase, you always need to add the in-text citation. There are 2 ways to add in-text citation. Parenthetical citations, as you can see they are in parentheses. This would be the example to that. Or a narrative citation or author prominent citation, where you use the source as the subject of the sentence, like here. This again is up to you. In my academic papers, I tend to use a variety of citations. I use parenthetical citations, I use author prominent citations, just to add some sort of variety to my texts. That being said, this brings us to our end product. This is how your paraphrase could potentially look like in the end, if you were to follow all these 4 steps. Look at how the original text looked like at the beginning. It is quite different, right? Yet, still talking about the same thing. The content hasn't changed. It's only the way we deliver that message that has changed. And we did that by finding synonyms, reordering some ideas, changing the structure of the sentence, and adding in-text citations. As long as you follow these 4 steps, there's a high possibility that you will have a good paraphrase. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful for you, and good luck with your academic work.